Hey, quick question. Have you ever caught yourself wondering what Hollywood stars actually do when the cameras stop rolling? I mean, when they're not filming those intense action scenes, or gliding across red carpets in designer suits and gowns, or doing press junkets for their latest blockbuster, what's their version of downtime? Do they just head off to a luxurious 5-star resort in the Caribbean? Maybe lounge in a yacht off the coast of Italy? Or hide away on some private island where no one can bother them? Well, you're gonna love this, because Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz, two absolute legends of the big screen, recently gave us a pretty surprising answer to that question. Instead of going full glam and disappearing into luxury, they took a break from filming and ended up in a museum. Yep. A museum. Just like that. And not just any museum. They were seen strolling through Museo Reina Sofía, right in the heart of Madrid, Spain. It's one of the most iconic and culturally rich art museums in Europe, famous for housing some of the world's most powerful and political modern artworks, like Picasso's Guernica. Now, let's just pause there for a moment. Can you picture it? Johnny Depp, the same guy who brought Captain Jack Sparrow to life, and Penelope Cruz, the stunningly talented actress known for everything from Vicky Cristina Barcelona to Pirates of the Caribbean, quietly taking in abstract art, shoulder to shoulder, maybe chatting about brushstrokes and symbolism. That's not exactly the image most people expect when they think of celebrity downtime. There were no red carpets involved. No press. No entourage of stylists or flashing paparazzi bulbs. Just two world-class actors, probably wearing sunglasses and wide-brimmed hats to go a bit unnoticed, walking through the echoing halls of one of Spain's most cherished art spaces. And get this. They even stopped to take a few photos in front of a beautiful black and white mural. You could see the relaxed expressions on their faces, just genuinely soaking up the vibe, the art, the energy of the place. It felt so normal. So relatable. And honestly, it's kind of heartwarming to think about. It's wild when you really stop and think about it. These are two of the biggest names in entertainment. Combined, they've starred in dozens of films, received countless awards, and worked with the biggest directors in the world. And yet, here they are, acting like two curious travelers, finding joy in something as simple and pure as a walk through an art gallery. But you know what? The more you look at it, the more it makes sense. Because Johnny and Penelope, well, they go way back. This isn't their first collaboration. In fact, Day Drinker, the movie they're currently filming in Spain, marks their fourth time working together. Their chemistry, both on screen and off, is undeniable. There's a comfort there, a kind of creative trust that comes from years of shared experience. So it's no surprise they'd carve out time together to do something like this. Something quiet. Something inspiring. Something that reminds them why they do what they do in the first place. And here's the thing, it's easy to look at celebrities and assume their lives are always go, full of glamour and attention. But this story shows a different side. A human side. One that isn't about status or spotlight, but about slowing down, reconnecting, and finding inspiration in the real world. Now maybe you're wondering, okay, that's sweet and all, but how does this relate to me? I mean, I'm not filming a movie in Madrid with Johnny Depp, right? True. But the lesson here goes way beyond celebrity. Because the truth is, no matter who you are, what you do, or how packed your schedule might be, everyone needs a break sometimes. And not just any break. A meaningful one. The kind that helps you reset, reflect, and maybe even reignite that creative spark inside you. Let's be honest, it's so easy to get caught up in the hustle. We're always chasing deadlines, climbing ladders, pushing for progress. It doesn't matter if you're a high school student, a parent balancing a million things, a startup founder, or just someone trying to figure it all out. Life gets overwhelming. And when that happens, creativity, real, authentic, soul-filling creativity, takes a back seat. But what if, Just like Johnny and Penelope, we allowed ourselves a little time to pause. What if we stepped away from our usual grind and did something totally different, even just for a little while? Something that fills our eyes with beauty. That stirs our emotions. That makes us feel a little more connected to the world around us. You don't need to travel to Spain for it. Seriously. You don't even need to leave your city. Sometimes it's about walking into your neighborhood museum, or flipping through a coffee table book filled with photography. It could be listening to music with your eyes closed. It could be sketching, even if you're terrible at drawing. It could be sitting quietly in a park and just noticing the world again. That simple act, of pausing, of getting curious, of exploring something new, can do wonders. For your brain. Your mood. Your motivation. Here's a little secret most creatives won't always tell you: the best ideas rarely come when you're grinding the hardest. They come in those quiet moments. When your mind is wandering. When you're not trying so hard. When you're open. And guess what? Taking those moments isn't selfish. It's necessary. There's a saying that's become a bit of a cliché, but it's true: you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're always running on empty, how can you expect to do your best work? Be your best self. Share your best ideas. Even people with entire teams around them, stylists, managers, publicists, need to step back sometimes and just be. That's what Johnny and Penelope did. And you can too. If you've been feeling stuck, creatively drained, or just plain exhausted lately, maybe this is your sign. Maybe it's time to put down the to-do list for a second and pick up a paintbrush. Or visit a local spot you've never been. Or call a friend and have a slow conversation about nothing and everything all at once. Those moments, they matter. They shape us. And sometimes, they unlock something new. A new idea. A fresh perspective. A burst of energy that reminds you of who you are outside of the daily grind. You don't need a film set or a big project to justify taking that time. You deserve it just because you're human. And let's talk about this for a second: how often do we glamorize busyness? How often do we attach our worth to our output? It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, if I'm not producing, I'm not progressing. But progress isn't always loud. It's not always measurable in likes, sales, or finished tasks. Sometimes progress is internal. Sometimes it's invisible. Like a shift in mindset. A spark of curiosity. A moment of peace. So when we see Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz choosing a quiet, reflective afternoon at an art museum over yet another interview or social appearance, it speaks volumes. It's not just a casual choice. It's a statement. In a world that often praises constant motion, non-stop productivity, and being everywhere all the time, their decision to step away and immerse themselves in art, in silence, in stillness, shows us something deeply meaningful. It shows that presence, being truly in the moment, with no distractions, isn't just rare, it's powerful. Think about it. These are two globally recognized actors. Their calendars are probably packed with meetings, interviews, red carpets, photo shoots, rehearsals, voiceovers, press calls, fan events, and everything in between. Every move they make is watched, recorded, analyzed. They're used to fast-paced days and big expectations. And yet, in the middle of all that, they chose to pause. They chose to walk slowly through a museum, to observe brushstrokes, to stand in front of murals and feel something, rather than perform something. That takes intention. That takes awareness. And it's a reminder to us all. How often do we rush through our days without truly noticing what's around us? How often do we pass by beauty, art, nature, people, without letting it sink in? We scroll, we skim, we multitask. But presence? Real, grounded, here and now presence? That's rare. And yet, that's where so much of life's richness lies. That's where we find clarity, joy, and often, unexpected inspiration. Because inspiration doesn't always shout. It doesn't always show up as a lightning bolt or a grand idea. Sometimes, it whispers. Sometimes, it's hidden in a quiet corner of a museum. Or in the texture of a painting. Or in the quiet company of someone who's simply enjoying the moment with you. Johnny and Penelope's choice reminds us that we don't always need more noise, more action, more exposure. Sometimes, we just need to be still and pay attention. And when we do, something shifts. We begin to see things differently. We breathe a little deeper. We reconnect, not just with the world around us, but with ourselves. That's what presence does. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of power we all need a little more of in our lives. And the best part? That kind of inspiration doesn't cost anything. You don't need fame or fortune to feel recharged. You just need space. And maybe a little intention. So next time you're feeling overwhelmed, creatively dry, or just kind of blah, remember this story. Remember that two of the biggest stars in the world decided to find joy and inspiration not in a fancy party or a shopping spree, but in a quiet gallery full of brushstrokes and stories. If it worked for them, it might just work for you. Now I'd love to hear from you. Seriously. What's your personal go-to when you need to reset? When you're feeling mentally cluttered or creatively stuck, what helps bring you back to center? Is it journaling? A long walk with your dog? Cooking something from scratch while listening to your favorite playlist? Sitting in silence for 5 minutes with a cup of tea? Drop your answer in the comments. Your story might help someone else watching this who's feeling exactly like you. And if this video gave you something to think about, or even just made you smile for a moment, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It's a small gesture, but it really helps the channel grow and reach more awesome folks like you. If you're curious about more stories like this, real, human, behind-the-scenes glimpses of celebrities being totally relatable, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got more feel-good, eye-opening content coming your way. And hey, share this with someone you care about. Someone who might be stuck in the hustle and just needs a gentle nudge to slow down and breathe again. Because at the end of the day, we all deserve that. Not just celebrities. Not just artists. Not just when we're on vacation. Every single one of us deserves a moment to pause, to reset, and to remember what it feels like to just be inspired again. So here's your gentle reminder to go find your own version of that museum walk. Whether it's down the street or inside your own mind. Go explore. Go wonder. Go fill your cup. And with that, until next time.